Is life about to get easier for the 13.3 million Americans who are out of work? The US unemployment rate has fallen back to 8.6%. That's its lowest since March 2009. Latest official figures show the economy added 120,000 jobs last month. But there is also evidence that things may be getting worse for the long-term unemployed. As I heard from Diane Swonk, chief economist at Mesirow Financial in Chicago.
Well, there is some recovery, and there's certainly a recovery from where we had been earlier in the spring and summer when the economy was in a growth recession again. That's the good news, but let's face it, the comparisons are easy to make given how bad things were. We had jobs created, about 278,000 more people were working, which was an improvement, and about 1 million over the last several months. That said, a lot of people dropped out of the labor force. They gave up entirely,
I was going to say,
what we worry about.
Yeah, a lot of people are just saying, look, perhaps, well, I'm not ever going to find a job. And this issue of long-term unemployed is a massive one in America right now, isn't it?
It has become huge. Over 40% of those unemployed have been unemployed more than 6 months, and the number of those people did not change during the month. So the people who are getting jobs are people who just lost jobs. The people who have been unemployed more than 6 months, their hope is deteriorating, and I think that's why you're seeing so many people drop out or retire out entirely of the labor force. And the real sense, those people who lose their 99 weeks of unemployment insurance, the depression, they've actually measured this, the depression and despair is very high, and they stop looking entirely, which explains, unfortunately, some of our increase in poverty in this country.
That was the American economist Diane Swonk. So what's it like to be running an ordinary business in the US now? How confident can corporate America be about taking on more workers? Joining me on the line from New York is Michael Diamond, who's chief executive of Skip Hop, which makes and sells baby products. Michael Diamond, have you been hiring more people?
We have. In the last year, we grew our staff by a third. We've hired 20 people over the last 2 years. And we feel in the consumer world, there's a lot more confidence today than we've seen in the past.
Really? I mean, so you're taking on many more people? I mean, how good things are things for you?
Well, I mean, business is much stronger than it's been since 2009, which was obviously a pretty lousy year. But what's changed in our business is we certainly have many more contingency plans, our plan B and our plan C, and certainly conserving more cash in preparation for what might be bad times ahead. But we feel that the American consumer, if you give them a better product or a better value, they're willing to open their wallets up today for it, like they hadn't been in the last few years.
Would you agree, though, that you do seem to be the exception rather than the rule when it comes to American employers at the moment? Although 120,000 jobs were created in November, as we'd heard, that's still not really enough, is it, to keep pace with the growing population? Why do you think so many other organisations remain so nervous about hiring?
Well, I do think the nature of jobs has somewhat changed. I think we have what you call a lot of knowledge workers, and people who are creative and create things. It's sort of different from the manufacturing world. And I think jobs are just changing. I think as the economy shifts and people change more to knowledge work, service work, I think that's where the jobs are going to end up.
Right. And what about this issue of long-term unemployment that we heard about? I mean, do you think there's much that can be done about that? Do you take on people who've been out of work for a while?
We have. As an employer, it actually also gives us a chance to try people out because they're currently not working, so it's a very good thing for us. We're not really concerned if you're coming from a job right now or if you've been unemployed for a year and a half. We really just care about your skills and your ability to contribute to our business.
And I noticed you said earlier on, about the possible dark clouds ahead. How optimistic are you about the future?
We're pretty optimistic. There's been certainly, we sell through retail, and there's been a lot of consolidation in the retail world. And the people who were left standing after 2008 seem much stronger and much more able to weather bumps in the road. I mean, something like 2008 would not be a very easy thing to get through again, but I think the bumps right now, I think most of the businesses that are strong today can handle the bumps in the road.
Okay, Michael Diamond from Skip Hop in New York. Thanks very much for joining us. Well, you might think a fall in the unemployment rate would prove a tonic for shares on Wall Street. That wasn't really how it turned out, though.